4%. I plugged it in. Like when I said I need 20 minutes.
And
At
it
the same
was,
time,
and it's
I
good
started
now.
printing that thing, and it's like
You
40
just
bucks.
got on the fast charger bandwagon here.
I didn't, yeah.
Okay, we're doing like essentially a live test here.
Okay.
We are on the interwebs.
On the interwebs.
Yeah, so you can hear your volume compared to mine. How about you, Dre? You want to say some stuff?
Everybody sounds great. Everybody's good. We all sound.
Well, you just got all Barry White-ish there.
Oh yeah, I always have to do that in the beginning of
Yeah.
the episode. Hey, ladies.
Shit. Okay, so you want to just do this? Like,
Is
should
it
we just-
embarrassing
should we
that I
just
could
start
do
it?
it too? That I'm like half your size.
There you go. That's right, ladies. Take those drawers out the dryer. It's about to be a long night.
Wow.
Take them out the dryer. I thought we wanted them wet.
This is how to watch TV.
Live from 9 Mile Studio, my name is Joel Henderson. With me, as always, what's his name over there?
I am Jeremy Basitis. We are brought to you.
Wait. We didn't do the other one.
This is Dre Brown. What's going on with you?
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Jeremy, let us know where we at.
Where we at?
We are live from the 9 Mile Studio.
I already said that part.
Our new setup.
Just kidding. Go ahead. Go on.
Are you done? Are you good? Okay.
Right.
I'm good.
Are you
We're brought to you by Come Up As Network. He does all the producing and all that fun stuff. And check out all of our future and past and present content at howtowatchtv.website.
That website.
.website.
It's important that you type in a website. I need you
whole-
all to understand. Type the word website.
The whole word. Website.
Yes.
.website.
Yep.
Yeah, we also brought to you by AB Cannabis Training from Chicago. We got 2 events coming up in the month of October. You can sign up for it now. One of them is called Don't Be Scared, where we educate people on proper cannabis dosing with your edibles so that you won't have a bad experience. And the other one is, I can't remember the name of the thing right now. I'm sorry for that, but you can look us up online at abcannabis.com, abcannabistraining.com.
Something.
This lapse of memory brought to you by cannabis.
Right. So, we are here this week in our new setup. We're stoked about it. I am anyways. It's lovely.
I love it.
The weather is appropriate at this point in the evening. I don't feel too hot. And
Well, I mean, we can ask our sweatiest member of our crew here if he's all right.
what do you think, Dre?
Oh no, I'm gravy now. Yeah, it feels actually really good. I just got to bring my body temperature, in line with the room.
Right.
But I'm
Okay.
great now.
Okay. So, yeah, we're going to discuss Season 1, Episode 2 of House of the Dragon. It was called, what did you say it was again?
Rogue Prince.
The Rogue
Prince,
Prince.
referring to Daemon Targaryen.
AKA dude
Well,
from Morbius.
At least, I never saw Morbius. I heard it was so bad.
Lucky
I should
you.
just not watch it.
Please don't. We can't afford to lose anybody else to Morbius.
Oh, we're talking about Morbius? I'm out.
It's Morbin time.
It's Morbin time.
That's really the only thing I got from that movie was that internet trick where
Right.
everybody thought the movie was trending, so Sony thought it was a good idea to put it back in the theaters, and nobody went again.
Oh my God! They tried to trick him again too. They did
did.
another online petition.
They
against
did
Sony.
another
Yeah,
layer
they
of
tried
that?
to do it again.
They told
yeah.
him, "Look, sorry, Sony, we were all busy. We were
Right.
at work or something like that. But we promise if you put it in theaters again, we'll go see it this time." Sony's a bag of idiots.
I'm sorry, my bad. Trying to fix my my P guard,
Jeremy is fiddling.
my
Oh, your
my
pop filter?
filter.
But yeah, House
Call
of
it
the
a
Dragon.
P-guard.
House of the
So,
Dragon.
so when this episode started, my first thought was she's still not queen. I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't rush through that because, like, I'm enjoying this everything being set in place, kind of.
Do you think? I've again, spoiler for anybody who haven't watched the show yet. You should probably pause this, put it on your watch later list, favorite it or whatever, and give us a heart for the hell of it before you even watch it. But watch the episode first. But I want to ask, do you think that she's gonna be queen at any point in the show?
She's gonna claim to be.
Oh, like, do you think
You
it's
mean
going to
this
play out
season?
that way?
I don't think
this
she'll be
season or this this show period at all in the history
for
of
the
series.
show at all. I don't think she's destined to be queen. I think that's kind of the whole thing that they're gonna do. Because if they make her queen at any point, the whole thing of Daenerys being queen and Cersei being queen, I think that kind of takes away from that. And it feels like the messaging that they're doing right now is what women have to do in the background to keep the men upright and moving.
Well, I mean, we're definitely in a place where, like, it's weird to me that, okay, so not to jump around too much, but the king is basically, the whole goal of it is now he has to move on and get married again.
Right, so he can
It's
bear
like-
another heir.
But he just secured an heir.
They don't care. That was the whole point of it. It's like we don't care.
She said
Politically,
there's-
you have to have a son.
There's a sentence in the show. Well, not like by rule, but like by like.
Yeah, but I'm saying
tradition,
politically, like,
like
the
politically,
guys looking at it
She
like they
said
won't
that
respect
men
the
would
man.
rather set the
a
realm
woman.
to the torch than see a woman go to the Iron Throne or send the Iron Throne.
And I thought that was dope because when you think about it, once Cersei took the Iron Throne, that's kind of when everything ended.
Yeah, she didn't sit there for long.
Yeah, she really didn't. She didn't have a long reign, and I think
But
technically
people
Daenerys' reign was even shorter.
people did follow Cersei out of fear.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
Right.
like, it's not a great way to lead, but they did fall in line because she was a psychopath.
this is
And, you know, and she could do, like I said, she did one of the cruelest things. I've said it before. One of the cruelest things I've ever seen done to like another human being.
to that lady.
You know what she, with the locking her in the room
Yeah,
with
and
her
kept
daughter,
her
after
alive.
Right.
Poison her with that. When we just watch her die and rot away, and we'll keep you alive. Yeah, that was absolutely brutal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was some brutality in the
So
old
like,
show.
yeah, if you're a guard and then you catch wind of something like that, or you spread those rumors, or you know what I'm saying, like people in the flea bottom,
definitely don't want to be a
you don't want to
traitor.
be. You don't want to be, or the
Right.
mountain. You got that dude that was talking mess in that bar, and the mountain just smashed his skull in. Like, you know what I mean?
Or the Hound.
No,
No, the mountain.
Oh, okay. I can't remember.
what did she call him? Sir Robert. What do you call him? Sir Robert Strong. What was it?
Clegane?
Sir. I thought they changed his name.
Oh, I thought he was Gregor. Or,
He was Gregor Clegane is his real name, but I think after
they
once
brought
he
him back to
brought him
life.
back to life, they called him like Sir Robert Strong or something, didn't they?
They call
Bob
him-
Strong. That's a
call him-
very generic name
They
for
call
Game
him
of
big,
Thrones.
big dead strong guy,
Right.
Right.
Tommy tough guy over here.
I like that Viserys built a replica or had one built of old Valyria. Like, that's leading me more towards maybe somebody's going to talk about this and
You know
give
what?
us a little bit more.
My whole thing is I hope that's not it.
What do you
Actually,
mean?
that was my thought. Was that's not what you're going to get of old Valyria?
Better not be.
Yeah, well, I personally, before we even get into any more details, I kind of enjoyed that they brought the theme song back. I thought we
Oh yeah,
talked
we
about the
should touch-
possibility of them bringing the theme song back.
I think one of us actually might have said that. What if they just used the regular one? I thought they would. I thought for sure they'd come in with a new song. When they didn't, like as soon as I heard that music kick on, I like looked at because I was sitting there watching my wife. I looked at her and I was like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, like it works. It's a great theme song. It ties everything together. The opening was cool.
And they
so,
had
why
a
not?
boatload of viewers for this episode too. Apparently, it hit really hard.
Well, they had 2% more than the premiere. It was like
People were gonna watch
10.2
it.
million or something, you know.
No matter what they felt about the end, people are going to watch it. It was one of the most popular television shows in history, regardless of how it ended.
I was
We're gonna tune in.
I was assuming there was going to be some form of a tweaked or modified version of the theme song, where like there were elements of it, you know, in that same Star Warsy realm, like we were talking, where everything feels about the same.
Right.
The visuals of it were really cool though, because it focused on their one house and then
Right.
the blood running through it and the
Right.
fire and you know what I mean, fire and blood done.
Yeah, it was
Like
cool.
it's super easy and yeah, I love the thing. That thing is like just pouring water out onto the table.
Johnny Walker.
It was in the freezer.
Yeah.
That's
That's not going to ruin the table. I genuinely don't know.
I mean,
It should be laminated enough that it's not a problem,
It's not
but
a problem. It's,
we got a
just
White Walker, Johnny Walker.
right.
That's pretty dope. Game of Thrones.
Yeah, let's switch over to
Game
Jeremy here. So we
Game
can
of
see that.
Thrones
yeah, it's a pretty cool little collection sitting in front of me.
alcohol.
A lot of it acquired at Comic-Con, like all these little statues.
Game of Thrones, Valor Morgulis. What kind of liquor is that?
I have no idea. Some sort of beer, I think.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I'm never going to open them, so I'll know.
Nice.
No, they're just going to remain forever.
You're
This
gonna
one's
drink
been
that Johnny
open.
Walker. I was
been
about to say
open.
you definitely gonna drink the Johnny
It's
Walker.
been open. I think we opened it like at the last episode or something like that. When we watched the final episode.
I see.
That might have made the episode more enjoyable.
I remember being really angry and doing a lot of like, seriously,
A lot of tutting.
you know.
Shout out to Jesse in the chat. Just want to drop that in real quick since we starting out.
Hi Jesse, thank you for tuning in.
Do you think-
She was confused by our showing up on a Tuesday, so I just told her we got a busy day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Joe got to go get circumcised again. They said they missed the first time.
They said it was going to be fine, and then it wasn't fine, you know?
Hey,
Do you think Rhaenyra's friend is scheming or being genuinely helpful?
which one? The one that's gonna marry her dad?
Yeah. Like,
No,
do you think at that time she was, like, scheming for that to be queen as opposed
Mom
to
told you to get a ride home.
just being helpful?
I don't think she's scheming at all. I think she's been pushed into a position where she had to. I think she's going along with her father's plan. She doesn't feel like a scheming type of character. She feels like, okay, a dutiful daughter. Basically, her father was like, all right, here's the move.
Right.
I'm the hand of the king. We need to move up, put our name in a better position.
But prior to even getting that on the table, do you think she was just being helpful? Or do you
Yeah,
think
no,
she
that's what
was-
I'm saying. Like, she felt like a real friend, like she was
Okay.
being helpful.
I thought so, too.
And then,
But you never know with this show. Sometimes they make people seem like they're being scheming even though they necessarily aren't, or, you know, I don't know.
no, I think that's what's going to be dope about it because her father is putting her in a position where it's going to drive a wedge between her and her friend. And her friend who obviously has more than just a regular friendship type of affection for her. So that's going to be real interesting moving forward. I think she's going to
Yeah, I
we
think
see
they
a
had more of a
Cole-
friendship kind of court in there. Those
and
two.
I feel like if we see a cold side from her,
Right? Towards
it's going to be pointed towards her friend first, not her uncle. I think she like
right. I see what
that
you mean, yeah.
confrontation later on in the episode with her uncle or whatever. We'll get to that in a minute, but that was more or less dutiful type of thing. That was like, this is what I have to do so we won't have a conflict. I don't want my dad to kill my uncle. That's basically how she approached that. But with her friend, once that announcement was made, she was like, you saw it in her face. She was like, oh, okay, I see what it is.
So you think she's mad at her friend about that?
Oh yeah, she definitely gonna be.
Alicent or something like that?
I guarantee it's almost guaranteed if Jeremy's prediction of a time jump in the next episode doesn't work out.
That's great, dude. That looks awesome.
Oh yeah,
Honestly, like that looks way better.
lighting up the post in the background for
Yeah.
anybody who can't see. But
Jeremy printed this just before we went on the air. Like
so
seconds before.
oh yeah, that looks super dope.
That looks way better.
Freaking bright, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no,
Definitely better.
I think if there's no time jump in the next episode, like he predicted, I think they will show a scene where she actually comes to her and questions her motives.
Oh wait, you don't think there's going to be a time jump right
I'm saying
away?
if it's not
I
a time jump, I see her
I
questioning
keep
her
hearing. Well, I keep hearing. I went on the internet and like I saw a little bit about people saying that the casting that they're going to jump to Rhaenyra as an adult sooner than later, and as a different actress, which annoys me a little bit because like I feel like the two, and same for Alicent, that the timeline is off already from the Game of Thrones version of it. Like it was supposed to be that she's pregnant with him and they have a kid like within a year. And they're saying it's going to be a couple of years after that already, or
They
you know,
probably
like-
don't want to put it on the screen and imply that he got a girl that young pregnant.
right.
We are dealing with today's political environment and social.
But how long could he wait that they would need to cast a different girl for that?
I think it's gonna be weird
Same
if they do
for-
cast two different girls because
That's what I'm saying.
what's
Like,
gonna
is
happen
it
it's
big
gonna
enough
feel
of a
really
time
weird.
jump to warrant that? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, I know. I'm
That
with
makes
you.
that's exactly what I'm asking. Really,
It's
is
gonna
like,
feel really weird if you see it and then you have to. It's gonna kind of be like the soap operas in the '80s
nope, that's bad.
when they get a new
Gotta
actor
stay
and
low.
they be like, such and such will be played by Woo now. When the episode starts, like what the heck going on here? So
Yeah, how much of a time jump is going to occur? That means his kid would have to be like growing up already at that point, the son. Like by the time we went back there. Otherwise, there's no need for it. She could look both of them could look older.
right, I think they could do it. They could pull it
But
off.
they, but they apparently cast the young versions based on who's going to be playing them as adults.
and see that's the
So that's
thing.
probably the real, the real version of
That's
them.
possible too, but I don't know if you've seen The Witcher, if you've
I have
been
not.
watching it. Like I was telling Jeremy a little earlier before we start recording, The Witcher did the same thing. They kind of almost feel like they did a time jump, but the young lady that The Witcher saved, and
Siri.
she looks older between one season and the next, between the first and the
But it's
second.
the same
season.
actress.
But it's the exact same actress. So I feel like they kind of aged her down in the first season just so that it can feel like it's time is marching on faster. And I
Right.
think that's a better way to do it. So, I mean, you never know. Maybe they did it.
Okay, yeah, just interesting. I'm hoping.
We'll have to see how the other actress picks it up because
Yeah.
I do like.
Oh, Patrick, no.
What did Patrick say?
I'm not saying it on. We're going to get, I'm just going to hand that
This
phone
is
to Joe.
on the.
This is on Facebook. I'm not reading that out loud.
I don't understand the second line, but the first one, I think her and
think
her
you-
uncle will end up together,
Yeah,
probably.
you about right.
More than likely.
My wife has also said that she agrees.
Yeah. I feel like they look like the keeping in a family type of family.
Right.
Well, it's a Targaryen
They're
way.
the old school Lannisters. Speaking of which,
Go on.
another question about what do you expect to see in the future of this show? Where do we see the Lannisters coming in?
Do we see the Lannisters coming in? Are they relevant in this time period?
I feel like to
the
acquire the
Targaryens?
type of wealth and influence that they had during the Game of Thrones, it
Takes
feel like
more
they
than
would have had to. Yeah, they couldn't have just popped up out of
Do you
the
think it's generational
right.
wealth?
Yeah, because they had a reputation.
But,
Well,
but
and our
they
time in
broke?
Game of Thrones, it was gone.
Yeah,
It was just an illusion at that point.
right. So that means they've been in the mix for a long time, and I
right.
want to see.
So
what
they're
they have
probably
for them.
acquiring wealth while the
Oh, the
Targaryens are
That was the other thing.
acquiring more dragons, essentially.
I am going to get up one more time. I'm sorry. This is so
You're
disturbing.
fine. What do you mean? You're good. Nobody knows. We're just continuing to talk. It's fine. I mean, there was a time where now the interesting thing to me was that they already have peaked as a family. We didn't get to see it, but they said there were thousands of dragons, and like that was the peak of House Targaryen.
Right.
So like everything from there is a downward descent.
So we.
Well, since the doom of Valyria,
Yeah,
you would think, has been.
but then if they named the show "The Fall of the House Targaryen," we probably would. It would be a little too obvious what we're watching.
Right.
So I mean, that could be.
Well, I'm
what
not
we're-
saying that's necessarily where it's going. I'm just saying it's interesting that
I mean, we
didn't
know they're
get
gonna
to
fall
see-
because when we saw Game of Thrones, we only had Daenerys and her brother.
right.
I don't remember them even speaking of like family somewhere.
Right,
It was
no,
like
they-
was
that's
the last
them.
ones.
That was it.
It was it.
So yeah, we obviously during some point in this series, we're gonna see like some kind of calamity, and all of them gonna disappear.
I'm just more bummed that we're not going to see the height of it.
Well, it
That's what
doesn't
I was
happen
meaning,
until the Mad King.
Right.
I want to
That's when
see
the
that.
last. That's when he
And the man, if I'm not
and his
mistaken,
family.
the Mad King is supposed to be the child from who?
That's not
Rhaenyra?
close enough.
It can't be close enough in
That's
time.
not.
No way.
No way, dude. There's no way. It's 200 years or 172
170
years
It'd have to be his
for
like
Daenerys.
either his grandpa or like his grandpa or great grandpa.
So these people are living on a timeline similar to modern day people.
In what sense?
Like
The year
like
is the
age,
same.
They
their
all
age
age
is the same.
around to about 70 to 80, and then it's about time to clock out.
I would be shocked if they'd lived that long.
'Cause they
but
never
yeah.
implied that somebody lives like a super long time.
Maester.
Well, there was. They made a big deal out of somebody dying in the first season that died of old age. Oh, it was the Maester in the old blind guy from the wall.
How old did they say he
His
was?
name was Aemon Targaryen.
How old was he?
He was like old. He was like 80 something. Like
Oh yeah, but that's
you
what
don't
I'm saying.
ever see anybody. That's what they made a big deal out of it because you don't see people
The
just
red
pass
woman,
away.
Melisandre, was like.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
she
but
was
she was, like,
unnatural.
magically.
Right.
Right.
She was not.
Right.
But that's the only other one that lived super long, is what I mean. I
Right.
can't remember anybody else in the show.
Okay. So, Joel, get us on track. What do we have?
I don't know. It hasn't been 6 months since the Queen passed, which means some time has already occurred.
I think there was a time jump there. They said it right away.
Yeah, just a little one, but
It's a small one, right? Well, you could see in the king's face during the first like scene that he was like, this was no longer. It was a man who had some time.
yes.
Not completely over, it, but he had some time to.
Well, they implied that he
where
was
he's
talking
not
to
like
that girl for some time.
red face, like
Right.
you know,
They,
completely
Right.
mad grieving at that point anymore.
right. They
You
implied
could
that
tell
he was
during
talking
he
to
had
the
more of
girl.
control over himself after that tragedy happened. He's still king. It doesn't, just because he doesn't have an heir yet, doesn't make him not king anymore. It does weaken his standing per se,
Right.
but he's still king. He's still the freaking king. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I actually like the actor. I think he's doing a good job.
Yeah, he's doing a very good bewildered.
Yeah, he's not like that. He's clearly a king that didn't want the throne.
Right. He doesn't seem regal. You know, usually after you pick somebody to be king, the king almost comes off as a little snooty, a little.
But the ones that are like
You
that, though, the ones that are reluctant leaders, are usually your better leaders.
They gave the impression that the Jaharis, or whatever the dude's name was before him, was like reigning over prosperity for years of, you know what I mean, of it being everything being good. So like
He got elected in a down
me,
cycle.
yeah, to me it sounds like it's on the downfall under this dude's regime. Like it made it sound like everything was great prior to him.
Well, there was a line like that in the thing where the shipmaster. What did I call him? The sea snake. What is his name? His real name? Valeria.
I know he's
something-
Valerian, right?
Yes,
Valerian?
he's Valerian, but his name is like it's similar to that.
Tyrone Valeria.
Tyrone.
I can say that,
He
Joe.
said it.
Are you talking about the dude with the dreads?
Yes.
It's
the white-
something with a C. It's like coil or something
Oh, right.
like that.
Okay. So anyway, he said to him, like, he ran down a bunch of the bad things that happened, like the crab feeder, like, you had this happen, you had this happen,
That
you
was
had this happen.
brutal.
And he was like, yeah, way to sum up my reign, like, yeah. So, yeah, like, we all can all agree that it's not going particularly well for him,
Right.
But it's the curse of the iron chair. It's the most dangerous seat in the realm. They said it, too. And it all just takes that cut. It's just more to it than that. Like,
Did we talk about how his brother had no problem comfortably sitting in it, and yet he gets cut by it, and potentially has grayscale or whatever, or just gets injured by
we
the
haven't
thing?
determined that yet.
Like he's
but-
not meant to be on it, kind of thing. Like it's
I think
almost
that,
like
no, I think
yeah.
that's exactly what it is. It's a kind of thing. If you get cut like that on it, you're
What?
in the eyes of the rest of the realm. You're not supposed to be on it.
right.
Okay, so that comment that you read from Patrick about having to look like Shaka from the old school that's from the Land of the Lost.
Okay, I don't
And
remember.
remember I said that girl looks like a Muppet?
You did say that last week.
This
yeah.
is Shaka from Land of the Lost.
Okay.
So he's saying the actors also have to look like a subhuman. That is so mean because she's actually somebody's child, and I'm not trying to be an ass, but it was like when I saw her face, I thought she looked kind of like she got that weird.
Love him as I do. Patrick usually is trying to be.
No, yeah, Patrick is definitely trying to be an ass, but I thought it was hilarious. But no, Land of the Lost, and I thought the actress looked like maybe we shouldn't comment on it. I'll leave it alone. But she has a almost human quality to
We have
her
been now
appearance.
canceled. Thanks, Dre.
Right. No, I'm just saying. But you know how some people have
Almost human.
No, I'm not
Maybe
trying to. No,
one
I'm
of
not
the
to be
cruelest
mean. I'm
things
not trying to
you've
be
ever
mean. I mean, I'm not saying.
What do you mean you're not trying to be mean? How's that
You
nice?
said-
Okay, so
Almost
let me
human.
give you two examples. Have you ever seen Toni Braxton or Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
They both
I
look.
can't remember what
they
either of them
both-
look like
They
offhand.
both look like vaguely attractive women, but they don't look fully human. If that makes sense.
Wait,
I'm just gonna switch to the Dre cam here.
I'm gonna
What do
give
we-
credit. I'm gonna give credit to Bill Burr because he said this about Taylor Swift. He said she does kind of have that web foot look about her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm not trying to be mean. Listen. I already saw.
I started laughing at her.
Listen, I saw what happened when what's his face said something bad about Lizzo and her physical appearance. I'm not judging somebody based on.
You're not
physical
body
appearance.
shaming.
I'm not body shaming or anything. Like I think, like I said, Taylor Swift, Toni Braxton, those are both two beautiful women, but there's something almost ethereal about the way that they look. And this young lady that
Is this like Hillary Swank in The Office? Them trying to decide if she's hot.
No, not that. Because Hillary Swank just looks like a chick that kind of could look like. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not judging this. I'm just saying that
I almost got it.
there's an ethereal, almost
Almost got it with that
unearthly
one.
look to their physical appearance. That's all I'm saying. And some people have that. Taylor Swift is one. Toni Braxton is another. And like I said, this young lady that they have playing Rhaenyra or whatever.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the young actress playing the daughter of that guy, for some reason.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No, the daughter of the.
Oh, no, not Tyrone's daughter.
Listen, man. See, you're gonna you can't.
No, you can't make that joke.
So you have to figure out his flipping name and
Okay,
say it.
I'm gonna go and find his name. I'm gonna go and find it. No, but you get what I'm saying, Jesse. I'm saying when I say vaguely attractive, I'm saying like I'm self-conscious, so I'll be forward with that. So I don't judge people based on their appearance, but there's certain human beings who have
There you go.
There's certain human beings that have a very odd look to them. That's all I'm saying.
Who are you texting? What are you doing?
Me? I'm trying to fix the link because I put the wrong one before. Because it was a different.
While we listen to Dre try to walk back his
Yeah,
I'm
no.
not trying to walk it back. I'm doubling down. Actually, what I'm
insanely
saying
mean
is,
comment.
Yeah,
I mean, she looks unreal, like somebody made her up in a lab or something.
Okay.
That's all. Jesus Christ.
And we're canceled again.
right.
And we're out of here. All right, everybody, pack
I
it
feel
up.
like this is Dre's
name is
Indian
Lord-
music or Pakistani music
His
moment.
name is Lord Corliss Valerian.
See, I thought it was Valerian.
Yeah, it's Lord Corliss Valerian.
Is it spelled different than Valerian? Is it like
Valerian, you mean?
Patrick said it's Calarius, but it's Corliss.
Okay,
If Patrick is talking about the same guy, yeah,
he is. Okay.
Yeah, so it's Corliss.
All right.
I'm pronouncing it Corliss. That's the way it's spelled to me. I
So
could be wrong.
that's a beautiful segue because they wanted to merge their houses.
Yeah, he was looking for another step back to a position of higher power. His wife already didn't get picked. You saw his reaction to that at the Great Council when they decided to go with the man.
Viserys.
Right, they went with Viserys instead of his wife, and then you're carrying around this crown of the queen that never was, yet you have the strongest military force in the land. So that doesn't seem to sit well with him. You know what I mean? Like when you flex
Feels
your
like he feels like he's owed more.
right, you feel like you should be in a better position.
Right.
And it's like when a king wants to flex his muscle, I'm the muscle that you flexing. So it's like, dude, help me out, hold me down. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, that's just, that little political move that the king made where he was like, okay, listen, I'm going with the daughter of my hand. Okay, now that's more conflict to come later because now you might lose the support of your military.
Right.
You already lost all the people that follow your brother. You pretty much lost them. They done.
The gold cloaks. And
Yeah,
there's
the
like
gold-
trained
that's
military
done,
people
right.
too.
So-
not just
so
like
you lost all the
followers, but
land.
Why
trained
did
soldiers.
they lose them? What do you mean?
He left. He took him to
clearly-
Dragonstone.
He took them to Dragonstone,
Oh.
and they follow him. They are loyal to Daemon. They feel like he should be king. So
Oh, the city watch.
Or he
went
should
with
be
him?
heir. I don't think they think he should be king.
not king,
yet.
but heir at the very least.
Right.
And what I'm saying is, you've lost the land. That's your military might on land.
Right.
Now this man already came to you and told you, look, we got people out here attacking our ships. The crab people. They out here attacking our ships.
That was messed up.
That was not. Didn't you see my text? I told you I had just started eating because I was eating late that night, and I just
You were
put my
having
food-
crab?
No, I was just putting food in my mouth, and as soon as it came on the screen, I was like, I'm gonna watch that later.
Yeah, he
I
was
turned it right off.
he
I was like, I can't
eating
eat.
inside a dude's foot.
Yeah, it was like,
was so
it
gross.
was.
And you're like, oh, he's alive. He's
Yeah.
alive.
He was alive when he started moving. I was like, oh no.
Oh, yeah, that.
But
that
no,
stuff is-
the thing about it was, like I was saying, was that this guy is literally saying, listen, man, these are my people on the front line. It's almost like, this is me looking from a black guy's perspective. He's basically saying y'all playing Operation Hat Behind the Darkies, like in the South Park movie. We on the front line and we taking damage, and you want to sit here and talk. You don't want to do nothing. You just want to talk. And why?
But there's no war at the moment.
There's no war, but there's a war being waged on us. Because you don't have to necessarily declare war to have a war waged on you.
Go, expand on that. I'm not sure. I'm not
The
following.
crab people are at war with
Oh,
them.
the crab. Okay, never
The
mind.
crab
that makes
people are
sense.
literally killing them right now. That's what his whole complaint was at the
The
beginning.
triarchy is what
Right.
they're referring to them as.
Okay. And that's what he was complaining about at the beginning of the episode. Like, look, we need to do something. And the king, like, kind of just brushed that shit off. So he's like, all right, that's one strike.
I see. Okay.
Here, I'm going to hand you my daughter.
That was. I mean,
That was really messed
that
up.
was really rough.
That was messed up.
That was rough to watch.
I'm surprised they actually put that on screen.
I'm-
I was really surprised.
I mean, the way she was like, I wouldn't have to bed you till I'm 14 or something like that. Like the fact that she knows all that is just so messed up from a 12-year-old.
They raised her for that sole purpose, and it was like, y'all actually put this on screen. I thought the Daenerys thing was kind of rough at first, but
Yeah,
that
but
was-
she was clearly like 15, 16. I
yeah,
would
but
think.
but do you hear what you're saying? That's what
I
I'm saying.
understand.
I thought that was crazy, but then when you look at this, it's like, Jesus Christ, they put that on screen. But at the same time,
Like she was 12, right?
yeah, I think she was like 12 or something like that. And then, but what I'm saying is, that was the second strike. You understand what I'm saying?
To whom?
To the king. The king. That was the second
Oh,
strike.
for
you
him.
already spurned me when I said, let me protect our people. Let's go to war with these people that's actually out here killing us. And now, you won't even give me a pathway to the throne.
Right.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So would you say that you are or are not invested in this show at this point? Because you sound
Unfortunately,
pretty
they got me.
invested.
They got me. I told you they was gonna get me.
I'm invested to a
got
certain
me.
degree.
It's
Like
too
I
good
said,
of a show to not
like.
like.
It's very well done so far.
Yeah.
The
I think that
characters-
everybody involved is going to go, here's where they went wrong. We're just not going to do that. And we should be good.
I hope so.
How many
Man, I hope
seasons
so.
do you think something like this gets?
I hope they get at least 5 great. If they can keep this going for 5 seasons, leave it at that. Don't.
But if they're going to do even 5, shouldn't this version of Rhaenyra get 1? Get like a whole season?
Was she's in charge? Or she's
No,
queen?
just lead.
He's
Just
talking about the actress that's
the
playing young
actress
her.
is playing her now.
Oh,
Like, don't you think that if they're going to do a 5-season thing, give us a whole year of maybe there's not enough conflict? What do you think?
I didn't watch the actual preview for the next episode, so I'm unfamiliar with whether or not we'll be doing the time jump. I think that she should have a whole season. She's not a bad actress. You know how sometimes you see a show and somebody is so standoutishly bad that you just like
takes
take
you out
away
of it,
from the
yeah.
show. I haven't spotted a bad actor or actress in this show at all. So I mean, yeah, give it a whole season. I
Can
don't
I?
see a
Is
problem
it
with
is it bad to say I'm not super into the dude who plays Damon? Like, I don't think he's that amazing of an actor. He sort of seems a little cartoonish.
I liked him better in this episode than I did in the first episode. He's growing on me.
I just don't get why everybody acts like he's this amazing actor. Like I've heard that because he was Doctor Who for a bit.
He
And, like,
is.
people were just like, "Oh my God, this guy is amazing," and I don't know.
He also.
I don't know anything about him. Like,
He also fits into that category of vaguely human-looking people. They have an ethereal.
Just hold on a second. Come on, man. Give me. Okay, go ahead.
I'm being real. They have a certain look. Some people just have a certain look, like Benedict Cumberbatch. Before he played Doctor Strange, and they put all the like the fake beard and all that stuff. You watch him in anything else, this guy looks like a smooth face. I don't know. It's just weird, and some people just have a certain look to him. This guy's a great actor. I like him. I like him as Daemon Targaryen. I did not like him in Morbius because Morbius sucked super donkey balls, and that's why it's hard.
He was
for me.
in Morbius.
Oh
I've
my
never
God,
seen-
he was the main villain in
They're
Morbius.
bringing
It
that
was
out in
so
the
bad.
theaters again, right? Can I go see it soon?
Hey Sony, look, bring it back, baby. We all going. I promise you. But no, it was he's a great actor. I think he's good as Damon. He comes off menacing in a way that doesn't seem over the top menacing. He might act over the top, but it doesn't feel like he's a cartoonish villain. It feels like this is a dude who might be a little on edge when it comes to sanity. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he feels like he might be a little crazy.
Okay.
And he might turn out somehow to be the ancestor of what was the young king's name in Game of Thrones, the one we hated?
Joffrey.
Joffrey. He might somehow turn out to be a ancestor of
Targaryen?
Doesn't
Joffrey.
give me Joffrey vibes.
Yeah, that's psychosis
Psychosis.
with a
I
slight
mean,
taste of power, and he's completely brutal for no reason. Just because he could be. That's literally Joffrey's calling card. Like I can.
I feel like
this
Joffrey
thing.
got that from the
I think-
inbreeding, and which
I
which
think there was
there's nothing
more.
to
There was
say he
more just
isn't.
cruelty to Jeffrey, like with the animals and shit. Like I don't get that vibe from this dude. Like he had a very specific reason for what he did.
Oh yeah, the reason was there, but I mean that's an evolution of it. You know what I'm saying? Like if I could justify my cruelty, somebody that I'm raising could just justify cruelty for something way less. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Cruelty for cruelty's sake.
I'm not opposed to what you're saying.
I'm trying to find a through line, so sometimes I do make those connections that where they might not be, but I'll always say it. I think. Well, I wasn't on the podcast with you guys back with the Game of Thrones, but one of the things we used to discuss.
No, check out our glory days on howtowatchtv.website.
Fuck you, buddy. But no, we far enough in. I could say that.
Yeah,
But no, listen. But one of the things we used to discuss back in the old Game of Thrones, me and my buddies, when we used to talk about it, was the possibility that Joffrey was not actually Jaime and Cersei's son, but that Joffrey was actually from the House Targaryen.
How?
I don't know.
In that theory, how was that possible?
It was very tenuous threads that we were pulling on. It wasn't nothing really solid.
Somebody would have had to have nailed
It was
Cersei,
just,
right?
Yeah, exactly. And to us, it just to us at the time we were discussing it, it was more or less just his blonde hair and his psychosis.
I think that was literally Jaime and Cersei's blonde hair combined to inbreed a asshole child. Like, not all of them are going to be that. So, like, Tommen was fine, even though he played another Lannister earlier in the show. He was fine. Like, he seemed relatively normal.
Great,
you know.
in the show.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, he seemed relatively normal. But
He jumped out the window.
But compared to Joffrey, yeah, I don't know. Joffrey, I think, was a product of that incest.
That
That's
and
just
mental,
my opinion.
yeah, that right, mental illness due to that.
I don't know. I just always
If his
associated
hair was white,
when they kept
maybe.
talking. I felt like when they kept talking about the Mad King, the only one on the show at the time that reminded me of that, or just put me in the mind of the Mad King, was Joffrey. Like the minute he took the throne, you saw his cruelty, like
the heads
shoot
on the
through roof.
spikes, the
Right.
George
And
W.
it's
Bush.
like he he didn't even question. He didn't talk to his advisor. He didn't ask his mom or nothing. He just walked out. It's like, yeah, we just put some heads on the spikes in front of the castle, and like, well, this little boy crazy as hell. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what it felt like to me, but I could be wrong. But yeah, Jesse said the same thing about that you guys said, that the actor playing Damon, his acting feels off in his show. But
It's just not impressive yet. Like, I get it. He's kind of a weird kind of character, but it's not, like, as intriguing as I think they think it is.
have you ever seen Denzel Washington Hamlet?
No.
Yeah, it just came out like in the last year. He does Hamlet. He does it
Right.
well,
But
he's still Denzel. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some people can't not be who they are, no matter who they playing.
Well, like I said, I'm not too familiar with the guy from anything else, so I don't really know. He's not
Right.
it's like you said, it's not impressing me per se.
Oh no, I wouldn't say
But
it's top shelf.
it's not Tyrion level acting. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not on any
no.
Hey,
level
man,
of.
ain't gonna be too many of the dinkles, all right?
I get it. I get it.
Dinkle is-
And I'm
the
trying
Dinkle
not
is
to
the
be
boy.
unfair in comparing this to specific actors from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he
but
was pretty spot on, like right away.
yeah,
Like,
this guy is. It feels like a. It almost feels like a little bit of a cosplay situation. and that's just me personally. I just feel
So you
that
think
way
they're gonna
about the
kill
guy.
him off?
No, I think he's
I
in
like
for the long term.
But see, I just kind of like his. I do kind of like.
I like his chaos. I get it.
Well, but it's chaos, not to a point where you see this in his face, to where like Joffrey had those crazy eyes, and like, you know what I
Yes.
mean. Like this dude's kind of like laid back, and he's just got like a. There's a method to his mayhem, and I kind of like that about him.
Yeah, and
You know
that's what I was
It's-
saying. That's why I like the
and,
way
like,
he brings the
he
character.
doesn't come off as crazy to me. It doesn't like Joffrey came off
Yeah,
as
he was
nutty.
just evil.
Evil. Like this dude does not come off like that to me. Like I feel like I could get behind him at some point, depending on where his character goes and the kind of things that he does. You know, there's certain things that'll lose me as far as not like lose me in the show, but like as far as being in your corner as a character.
Right.
You know, like it's hard for me to tell if he's going to be like a villain in the show, or is he going to be someone that we're rooting for by the end. It's hard for me to. It's kind of hard for me to get there. So I'm intrigued to see
gonna be
where it
honest
goes. I really don't. Like I said, I don't really know anything about the guy, so it's hard
Right.
for me to get there. Again, we didn't know anything about anybody else from basically except for like Sean Bean.
Sean Bean. That
in
was it.
Game of Thrones, and that was pretty much it.
Sean Bean was the actor, and they was
Right.
like, chop.
Right.
Which I thought was like, if you really look back on it, was kind of a great thing. He was the draw at first, and then all the other characters kind of stole the show.
Well, I knew the guy who played Robert Baratheon, but he wasn't in
Well,
the
yeah,
show
from
too
Fred
much.
Flintstone.
Yeah, he
I had
wasn't.
seen him before, right? Okay, Fred
Yeah.
Flintstone. That's right. Yeah.
But for me, I do know him from Doctor Who. I'm a big Doctor Who fan, and
Did you like him in Doctor Who?
he wasn't my favorite Doctor. I would put him in the top 5 for
Top
me.
5. There's only like 9.
It's like
isn't it?
it's like 10. It's like I want to say we're on 11 now. I think I just saw a casting for it. But no, for me, he wasn't the favorite. But yeah, I'll give him like top 5. But no, I thought he was pretty cool. I thought he was pretty cool in the show, and unfortunately, I am rooting for him because for me, the Game of Thrones universe is more entertaining when somebody chaotic is in power. Robert Baratheon in power was like Ned Stark running the North, or Robb Stark running the North. Somebody who's level-headed, calm, and stuff like that. It's cool for storytelling purposes, but for entertainment purposes, when you have that firecracker in charge, it's like Ramsey Bolton. You know what I mean? Like, as much as people didn't like Ramsey,
But no, he was
when
entertaining
Ramsey
shit.
was in
was-
charge,
he
it
was-
was like, bro, I gotta watch and see what Ramsey
Right.
do. You know what I'm
Chaos
saying?
was
So,
there, and
right.
he was a great evil villain. He was
Oh, yeah.
probably one of the best villains in the show altogether.
For sure.
I would love to see
Straight
him.
up evil, no redeeming qualities. I mean, he was charming in a way, or he
Dude,
could
him
be.
sitting there like shaking that
No,
sausage
you right, P.
in the chair. That shit was.
You right, P. P says Damon will smooth-faced Damon will live, and he will become the heir. I'm 100% on board with that. I think Damon will be the heir, and for entertainment purposes, I think it only makes sense to put somebody chaotic in charge.
It's kind of annoying that we can find out if we want to.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't want
isn't
to
that-
read right now.
I heard that in season 3, episode 4 of Game of Thrones, they spoil House of the Dragon.
Really?
Yeah, like they mention a character death that like spoils shit for us in this show. Like,
Do I really want to go back and watch that?
I don't want to be spoiled on this show. Now I'm invested in this. I want to see this thing play out. So like that's
Fair
kind
was
of
always
annoying.
there before.
It was, but we didn't notice. We didn't know. Like they could mention something in there. I don't even know what they're talking about because I refuse to
Well,
go
just
watch
go,
it.
don't go back
immediately.
and watch it. Just make the choice not to.
Y'all know I'm going to go back and watch it.
But how do you avoid season 3, episode 4 if you want to do a rewatch?
We just don't do that right now.
Yeah. So we're
at
stuck
least
for
until
however
this-
long this show runs for.
Oh, I guess it depends on, you know.
I don't want to go through it and then. I mean, obviously I missed it before because it wasn't relevant, but
It was just somebody said it was Joffrey telling a story, right?
maybe it could have been. Yeah.
Really? Don't do that.
So the next thing I have on here is that so if he does pick Alicent, then she will always be younger than his daughter.
I don't think she's going to live.
You mean the high tower or the?
Yeah, Hightower.
Well, aren't they about the same age?
A little bit younger. Like she I think she said she was 14 and Rhaenyra was 15. I could be totally off on that or making that
Oh,
up.
I didn't hear anybody.
It won't
say
matter.
ages.
She
Oh,
won't
I
be-
may have even been talking about the little girl.
I think you're talking about the
But-
12 years. She said
yeah.
she was 12.
But either way, like that's pretty damn close to your daughter's age.
But-
It's
Well, that's
weird.
way younger than your daughter.
But to
She's
be fair,
15.
again,
Right.
she's not gonna live. That
Who
girl.
isn't?
Oh,
Alicent?
anybody who's getting close to marrying, I think
they have a kid. I think they end up having a son.
she's not gonna live though.
I think she lives for a bit. I think she becomes
I think
queen
she's
for
one.
now.
Like it's
Just my opinion.
yes.
I just feel like that girl gonna go crazy and start killing
Why?
people. I just see it in the character already.
In the nice
I could be
friend?
reading something into her that was there from Daenerys,
Okay.
but
Are you talking about the? Who are you talking?
Rhaenyra or whatever her name is.
No, we're talking about Alicent.
I know, but what I'm saying is Alicent, I don't think she's gonna live because of Rhaenyra. You understand what I mean?
Rhaenyra's gonna off the queen.
Oh yeah. I see it in the character. I mean, I could be wrong. Like I said, I didn't read the books. I'm
No,
just
I
going
haven't
off,
either.
I'm just
None
going
of this
by
is spoiler stuff, so
Right.
if you know, please don't tell us.
We are seriously guessing right
right.
now.
I'm
We
just
don't-
going off.
This is the fun of it. I understand that we could go find out what's going on, but I don't want to necessarily. do that.
I'm going strictly off of characterization that we've been shown in 2 episodes. She seems to be a headstrong person, and she seems to be coming into the. And it's appropriate because she's at that age where, you know, when you're a teenager, you start feeling yourself. You don't necessarily listen to your parents. She's already lost her mom, and she doesn't feel like she has an actual relationship with her father. And then for her father to go and say she's gonna marry her girlfriend,
Right.
oh yeah, I could see her definitely going off the rails a little
But do you
bit.
feel like there's going to be repercussions from that? Like she's
Oh, yeah,
not going to
definitely.
end up in the throne because of that?
I don't see her being in the throne in the show.
I don't think that's going to happen either. It's a shame that we watched the whole setup for that, and then it's just like that. We're not going to do that.
No,
Because like you said, it does not make sense to undercut Cersei or Daenerys
yeah.
trying to get to the throne. Because
Well, you
it's-
need a wild card, and Damon can't
We-
be the
we
wild
need
card.
undercut.
like undercut in terms of like them being the first woman. I don't remember
Right,
them
that too.
saying that.
No, they
that
didn't
it
say
was.
it. I think it was implied always
But
because
that's
they,
what I thought. Yeah, it was implied that there had never been a woman who
yeah,
sat the Iron
especially
Throne.
when they had the youngs. They was running
I
down.
don't remember them making that remark.
They didn't make it obvious, but Cersei kind of emoted that almost when they was going down the succession of her dead sons. You know, say which one would become king, and then it's like, okay,
Right.
obviously Cersei was more fit to be on the
Now that we're
Iron
having this
Throne.
conversation, I'm getting like I could be totally wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I'm getting maybe something from remembering something from one of those like add-ons from the DVDs. that
Right.
There is a woman Targaryen that sat the throne.
Okay.
So then
I'm
it
cool
might
with
be
that.
it
Don't
might
know
be
who it is. I
Rain-
don't know, but I
what-
don't know if
I need
Cersei
to
was
figure out her
necessarily
name.
the first.
What is the point of the whole first episode if they're just going to have a male heir?
No, only reason why I said it is, hear me out. Think about it like this. This is just me from a storytelling perspective, how I see it going. Damon is already set up as the wild card. He's the get things in motion when we need something to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's no logical way for him to keep playing that foil to whatever they're doing if he doesn't ascend to the throne, because eventually you're gonna get stepped on. It don't matter who's loyal to you,
Unless he hooks up with Rhaenyra when she
Right.
becomes queen.
right? And at that point, because he's older and he has
See, there
a
you-
close,
then everybody
claim,
wins.
she wouldn't be queen; he would be king.
Wait a minute, though. No, if she's the heir,
If she's the
She's
heir
the
and they
queen.
marry, but he's her uncle and he's a man, he's the king.
I don't know if
They
that would be the
they-
case. Would it?
I see what you
I
guys. are
totally get what
arguing,
you're
and
saying.
I think they would be king and queen. They would both be like they would.
Have we seen that?
But
Oh yeah,
but
we
the-
did. Cersei was the queen when
She was
Robert
the
was
queen
the
when
king. So
Robert-
they do.
Yeah, but she wasn't in charge of shit.
No, she wasn't. She was in charge of
Robert was
brother
the king.
humping.
This would be. I think this would be a like an unprecedented thing where it was like these two people who.
Yeah,
were
could you see
capable
him
of
trying to run her and be in charge all the time, and she's at that point in life where it's like, no, dude, you're not telling me nothing. I can see that being a conflict, but like I said, unless he ascends to the throne, there's no logical reason for them to have him alive on the show. It feel like somebody would snuff him out almost immediately.
What are we talking about? Did you talk about
Damon. Yeah, like he has to be on the throne at some point.
Do you think that's why he stole the egg? What do you think that was about?
Spit in my brother's eye.
Yeah.
Spit in my brother's eye. He was
So
literally.
what? Did he feel like he got disrespected by not being named
slighted
heir?
again.
Yes.
He was slighted again. He said, "You're gonna keep slighting me. I poured my heart out to you." We talked about that in the last
So if I'm
episode.
correct with that whole scene, that chick, like he was really marrying her or he wasn't.
I think it was a stunt.
I think it was a stunt too. She was not pregnant.
I think he was trying to draw his brother out. I think he wanted his brother to come there.
Yeah, because that was the first question he asked.
Yeah, he was
the
like,
kid?
he ain't gonna show up. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the whole thing was get my brother to show up here, and then I'm gonna like put the boots to him or something.
I think he was planning on killing
Oh, he
him,
definitely
right?
would have killed him.
I don't know, man. I don't think he's that.
I think
that
he's
hateful
family
of his
loyal.
brother. He is. I don't think he hates his brother like that. Not yet. Not yet. I think we might see that happen.
Yeah, we could
but
get to
I
that.
don't think that point. I don't think he was looking for a war there. He was trying to see if his brother would show up for his wedding. He saw that he didn't.
But he couldn't. He in the invite, he spoke of having a dragon's egg, which was known to be the dragon's egg that was supposed to be in the cradle with his brother's son. That's a spit in the face. That's literally inviting conflict.
It
So
was,
which dragon egg is that? Is that
was
like
the one? She said it was from Dreamfire.
Okay.
Which is, I don't know.
Have you seen that like chart that shows? It's really interesting. That shows the different sizes of them.
No,
It's
I
like
have not.
Syraxes and Syraxis or whatever the hell hers is called.
Cyrax.
Something like that. They're on the second level. Like Balerion is up here, and then like Syraxes is like this, and then like Drogon is like this.
Drogon is smaller than.
Oh, way smaller.
Yeah.
Oh, so we don't even see the full size dragons right now.
No,
Dragons
they're
are
saying
young.
the sizes that they are now, they're way bigger than Drogon ever was.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, I'll pull up the thing afterwards.
They
and
don't
see
like
if
just
there's
even
a-
just looking at the scale. Like, I'd like to see it.
I'm looking it up right now. I got a picture for it right now.
I thought Drogon was huge. by
Oh
the-
wow. Yeah, Balerion is ridiculous.
Yes. Send that to me. I can see.
Here you go.
Syraxis is like a third of the size of Balerion.
That can't be right now, though.
There you go.
I'm looking at it.
I'm saying that Syraxis is not full grown right now.
No, they're
The
not.
one that we've seen.
But that's the size he is now, is what they're saying.
Drogon is literally like 1/15 the size of Balerion.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the chart I'm looking at. Drogon is down here. That's
Yeah.
Drogon.
Super tiny by
And he's
comparison.
tiny, and then at the top you got this huge Balerion.
But even the ones that they have now are not that big. By comparison.
This
They're
is
way bigger than
this is
Drogon.
Syrax. This is Syrax here,
Right.
which is about 4 or 5 times bigger than Drogon.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. And there's Dreamfire, so that's the dragon that's in the egg right now, and he's
Okay.
going to be bigger than Syrax. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they're huge. So, like, I would love to see something in the time where they were thriving, where there were thousands of dragons. Like, I want to see that visual.
Well, at that point, they don't even have a dragon mount. They have like a carriage or something with like 20 or 30 people riding on the back of a dragon.
Yeah.
It would be the only thing that makes sense. Like at that point, you transporting whole families.
With
You know?
dragons?
Yeah, with dragons. Like it's the stagecoach of dragon travel.
We got some dragon, what do you call it, public transport.
Right, like the dragon is supposed to be here 5 minutes ago, but he probably stopped to eat a field of cattle or something.
Right. So what do you think, Jeremy?
It's interesting. I just don't see that Drogon was that small. By the end.
I mean, how old was he?
He wasn't very
3
old.
years old, 4 maybe? Like, within the story?
To be fair, though, to be completely fair, if this chart is implying that that's how large they were before they died,
But Drogon didn't
that,
die.
That means Syrax. Well, I'm just saying. Well,
He could
maybe
be
the last time you
bigger
saw him.
now when we see him in snow.
That means this
potentially.
dragon Syrax got a lot of growing to do. the one that we saw her riding on the show.
Yeah.
It's going to be at least
Well, they
4
grow
times bigger.
fast, right?
But that means it's at least 4 times bigger than what it is when we saw her riding.
You know, like the
Then
that is-
what
one
do you
that
mean?
she's
when-
riding, the one
when
that
they
she's
saw it?
riding now looks to be the
right.
same size.
That's what I'm
as the
saying.
two
That's my
smaller
point.
dragons of Daenerys.
I think that chart is saying that's how big they are now, but I could be wrong. Like, I think that they're bigger and like lankier and like different shaped dragons. Like the neck seems to be longer.
Well, I think there's like even different like that. Damon's looks more snaky. Like it's got a longer, snakier
What's the name of
body.
Damon's dragon?
Syraxes.
Okay, yeah.
But he's red.
Yeah, he's red
So
on
when
the
is
chart.
that chart
too.
even from?
I don't know.
Brand new. I just saw it the other
Oh,
day.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, he's red on this chart as well.
And her name in Cyrax or
Hers is
Skyrax?
Cyrax, Syrax, and his is Caraxes, Caraxes.
Right.
Send me that chart if you can. Text me that.
Yeah, let me try to download it. I hate using this internet browser. But anyhow,
So Damon stole the egg and so they came to Dragonstone to get it back.
So these eggs have to be very valuable then if those
They
dragons
have to be
are gone.
limited.
I heard they did mention in one that they thought was nesting on the coast of the Narrow Sea. I think it was Verminthor.
Okay.
They said, where did she go? Because she just flew off. Like,
Okay. Kind of like Drogon. did
after
at the end.
Balerion died, she just flew off.
Okay.
what was the name of that one?
I think it was...
Oh, yeah, that's a big ass dragon. That one is almost the size of
So Vermithor, I think,
yeah.
is the one they said is that took off and is so I think we might see that dragon. That's
yeah,
a
and he's
big
almost the size of Balerion.
He's like one step lower than Balerion.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and he's super.
See, I
huge on
thought
that.
Drogon was like if I was guessing, and this is just me guessing by what my eyeballs are seeing, the skull that they showed in this show,
Uh-huh.
episode 1. If I'm like comparing it to what I'm remembering Drogon to be, Drogon was probably about half that size.
Yeah, that's.
That
But
might just
that
be a
to me-
production mistake.
That to me puts Drogon in the second level.
yeah, I don't think that was the case. I genuinely think that.
It doesn't see to me he's too small there. That I would I don't know. I guess I have no idea.
But yeah, like I said,
we
that
have
might
to
just
see,
be
I
a
guess we
production.
have to
That might
see.
be a production mistake or a design
Because
decision.
you only remember the end where Drogon was flying over King's Landing. Like his shadow was huge. He was big. I thought he was giant.
But it's just
he
like
melted the throne.
It's just like with the Iron Throne. If
I
you
think
look
it's
at the
relative.
mock-up of the Iron Throne, it was like super tall. You remember it was supposed to be like thousands of swords and all this, but
I think they did a better job with this version, and I think it's just that over time they got rid of those ones that were on the ground.
Right.
Like they
I
just
think so too. I think they
honed
like
it.
because of the curse thing, they started shaving it down and making it
a little more safe.
a little more safe for the kings to sit in.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I believe that chart at the moment, which to
I'll
me
go
is
with it.
fascinating.
It is
That
fascinating.
they're that much bigger. Because,
Yeah, I would like to see one of those big dragons
That's-
pop up on
so-
screen.
see,
That'd be
I'm
insane.
also looking at.
but
do you
in
see-
theory,
you see-
every dragon we've seen is bigger than the ones we saw in Game of Thrones.
you see, but see, I don't think we're seeing the full-grown size. Of
Yeah, that's what I was saying. In theory,
I
it
think
is,
her
but when they
dragon-
show it
you
on
think
screen,
you think that that chart is like their final form kind of
Why-
thing?
Why else do the chart? That's
Right.
what's not making sense for
Okay,
Drogon
no, that
to
makes
me.
sense.
That's why I asked you when it was created.
I
Like, was
think
this
it's re-
created like
I
way
think
back
it's
like
recently.
season 3 of Game of Thrones when Drogon
I don't think
was,
they
like-
knew about all these other ones
See,
then.
they put him as smaller than an elephant. Drogon was not smaller than an elephant.
Wait, in that chart, he's smaller than an elephant?
You see the elephants in the
yeah,
chart?
he's about
There's an elephant, a
size.
whale.
I
and
guess it's possible that was at the wrong time, but
You see
that
what I'm
just came
saying?
up recently, so I figured it was accurate.
I feel you like and like I it just feels like he was bigger than that.
No, he definitely was bigger than that.
If I'm comparing it to there's a human on there too, and then the elephant, he was bigger than that. His head was as big as an elephant.
Yeah.
She would walk up to the side of his head and touch his head. It was like
Right.
remember that scene where Jamie was coming at her. You know. I feel like
That was a really
bigger than
dope
that.
scene. Shout out to that scene. That was really good.
At least in that third row, where like Arax and Vermax and like those size, I would put him at. Like maybe not the next level up where you see Sea Smoke and Sunfire, you know. So Dreamfire is like
Okay, so Jesse said she's looking at a chart that's based on the books. She found it on Reddit, and
it's just a fascinating conversation. It
no,
is.
it's dope.
I hope
what it lends to is do we get to see that on screen?
just to
Show
be
me
even-
a dragon on screen that's so big that it's actually unwieldy to have somebody ride on the back of
well,
it.
like when
You know what I mean? Like I want to see something like
Like
that.
a
that's just-
Balerian kind
yeah,
of.
a Balerian size, or the one you
Where it's
said.
just
I
massive.
remember when I can't remember where I heard it or which DVD thing it was from or what it was, but a lot of the shit that I talk about from the show is from those DVD extras, those
Right.
like kind of semi-animated things. They were
Yeah.
super awesome every time. But when they talked about Balerion the Dread, like when he was flying, like he blocked out the sun. Like you thought the sun went down, like there was
That's
an
what I'm
eclipse.
saying. Show
Like,
me
this is
that.
how big he was.
Right.
With his body and his wings extended, he would like cast a
I
shadow.
would imagine we're gonna get
like,
that in
the
House
entirety
of the Dragon.
of like
That would be so sick.
the entirety of King's Landing.
Yeah, I want to see something so huge that it's
Dude,
bigger than a city.
So the one mention that we have of one that's even close to that big would be I think they said Vermithor.
Vermithor. That's what I'm saying.
They
So
said
if
that dragon's still alive somewhere.
we see that dragon show up and then like come down in front of the king or whoever and like just like dumb big, like, and
Yeah.
you see somebody
Like
just
Sky
stand
I
there,
want to
Super
see.
big.
I want to see
And-
this
and you-
chart represented on screen.
and you see
Yeah.
exactly, and you see somebody just like tank a fireball from him, like he just come down like, "Arr," and then just standing there like I'm
I mean,
hilarious.
because I'm
that
just
should be
picturing Drogon coming up over that
Dude, that'd be
hill with
so
with the
epic.
Dothraki and that battle scene. Like he was huge.
Yeah. But,
Huge.
so we're
way-
talking exponentially bigger than that.
Oh, yeah.
I-
We're
so-
talking about
well, he's-
For
and he's-
Balerion.
We're talking about the type of big that if he show up on screen in the middle of a battle
we're
involving other dragons, the next day the internet gonna be broke.
So what if
people would
what-
lose their mind?
What
Like,
if Balerion isn't
Dead.
dead?
did they show
Whose
his skull on
was
this?
that?
Oh, they did show his skull.
They showed his skull.
They could have made
but
it.
even that
Sculptor.
Gore Thunder or whatever, I forgot what you said his name is.
Vermithor.
Vermithor. If that Vermithor shows up on screen in the middle, I'm just giving you a for instance.
It would.
Syraxis and Damon's dragon, Coraxus.
Mm-hmm.
Syrax and Coraxus.
Are fighting.
They fighting for whatever reason. And in the middle of that fight, you see something just come up from under the clouds of the
That
smoke or
makes
something,
them look like children.
and just make them look like children to that dragon. I would lose my fucking mind. I swear on my soul.
That would
I'd
be a
sitting
lot
there
of fun.
like,
I'm totally down for Dragon.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even care
I
what
love
the
it.
story is about or the episode. I'd just be sitting there like dragons.
In House of the Dragon, yes. If you can make us care about they made us care about the dragons in Game of Thrones. We cared about them kind of as characters,
Right.
Drogon and stuff like that. If they can give us that same thing with
the
like,
dragon
even
catching
like,
that
even
spear
like a
from the Ice
more
King
like
did kind of hurt.
more layered kind of thing, if they can give us that with this chart is
Right.
super interesting. Like
When the Night
like,
King
if-
stabbed that
if-
dragon,
if this
I was
chart is
affected.
correct. If the one we're looking at is correct, Vermithor could eat Drogon almost whole.
Right.
Just bite him out of the sky, oh, like a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
That
want
would
to see
be
something like that.
insane.
That doesn't. Drogon's way too big for that. If that dragon is that big, from what we saw in Game of Thrones, that is absolutely insane.
'Cause look
that
at
would
the-
land on top of King's Landing and crush almost the entire thing.
Look at the last dragon compared to Drogon.
See, and they said that one was no bigger than a cat.
Right. So like that one's on that list, right?
I see it. Yeah, it's bigger than a human.
So that's
In
not
this
bigger
list.
than a cat.
See, I'm
then.
not sure if this chart is. Well, that was also Tywin Lannister
Saying
kind of
that.
s-
Yeah.
right.
Well, when she went there to get the egg, I think she handled herself pretty well.
Yeah.
In like a
That was a dope
queen-like
scene.
scenario,
I
That was
agree.
a really dope
she
scene.
managed to make it happen with no bloodshed, no drama.
I love the way she just walked right up to him, knowing that basically knowing that he wouldn't strike her down in that moment.
Right.
I like that she did the flyover first.
Yeah, it was
A
yeah,
show of
had to.
force. It's real. Visually, it looks great, but storytelling wise, the thing I'm always in for is the storytelling. That was just a show of force. Like, bitch, I'm here too.
Mm-hmm.
I got skin in the game. I got a stake.
So she said we have
In this
dragon
thing.
riders, and they seem to have like a stable. So you think there's more than just the two right now?
Yeah, I think there's like 10, 15 dragons.
They put that dragon
Total.
in a cave on the first
I
episode.
can't believe that thing went back in the cave. Like, imagine being the dude putting it back in the
But
cave.
they was
like, can you
doing.
go
But
back
the
in now,
older guy
please?
implied
Well,
that he does
I-
this a lot because he was training the other guy.
But I think that they even showed it kind of in Game of Thrones that the dragons do hit a certain age where they just start to they're gonna just do their own thing, and you if they come back to you, they do. If they don't, they don't. Like
Right.
I think Drogon did it, and he ended up coming back. The other two were locked up during that time that he left.
Right.
So like she, like
Excuse me.
I think they do hit a certain point where they're just, and maybe I think her dragon is still really young. Her dragon reminds me of the size, maybe a little bit bigger than Drogon was when he landed in the middle of the arena.
Drogon in the arena.
Right.
Dope.
You remember like season 3?
You got to stop calling back these iconic scenes, bro, because you're going to make me watch that show again.
I'm just saying, like,
And we're gonna get
I-
spoiled
I'm
in
I'm gonna be
trying-
pissed
I'm
all over,
trying-
too.
I'm trying to compare size of dragons. Like,
Yeah.
I think her dragon's bigger than that because he wasn't that big. That was elephant size to me.
To be fair, though, I wasn't even looking for size when I saw this episode. I didn't really think to compare the size of the
Right.
dragons because I didn't dive into the dragon lore.
Well, we're doing it
before
right
that.
now, which is
No,
it's just like probably.
So
the most
now, if I
interesting
go
part
back
to me.
and rewatch the first
can't
two
stop
episodes,
staring
I'm gonna start thinking about when
We
when
could go watch at the end and see how big Drogon was.
right that too,
compared to a
or
human.
or the one that got shot down over the and like what was the next to the last episode when he got shot down over the water.
Yeah.
That was a pretty decently sized dragon right there. We can kind of go back and
But
compare.
those seem smaller than Drogon because
were
they were
definitely
kept in
smaller.
a cage, right? Or kept in a
yeah,
cage.
one of them was definitely smaller than Drogon. Drogon
Well, I
was
think they were
kinda-
always Drogon was always going to be the biggest.
I just figured that they were like, you know how like they say if you keep a goldfish in a small bowl,
I
it won't
agree.
get
She
bigger?
stunted their growth a little
Yeah.
bit by sticking them in that cave.
So they
for a
were
while.
always
But they
destined to be the
definitely-
smaller
They
ones.
definitely got bigger in the cave. They grew in there. 'Cause
Right.
They were a lot bigger when she went back, like later on in the
Right.
season or whatever, or who's the next season? I don't remember.
So the next thing I have on here is the king playing with his Skylanders. Like that's so what it looked like. You know what Skylanders are, Dre?
Yeah, I got 5 kids, bro.
Yeah.
I hated those things. I spent a lot of money.
Sawyer
on them.
loves that shit. He put it on his birthday list this year. He's 13.
Does he actually keep them and play with them?
He doesn't play with them anymore. But he collects them. He like wants to. Oh, are you about to open up a drawer that's full of Skylanders?
There you go. We had that stuff.
I don't have that angle.
We-
Sorry, folks.
Jesus Christ.
What are those all Skylander drawers?
No, there's no way. Bro, what the hell? Hey, look, he went one more drawer. He put the Geraldo. Look, he put the Geraldo on that last drawer. He was like, "Is it?" Wait, that was empty. Don't worry about
You know,
that.
see what's in there.
But no, that's a lot of Skylanders. I will not complain anymore. I only bought a few.
So he ended up
didn't like
then picking Allison to marry. We talked about the repercussions of that already, right?
Yeah, I think he's gonna pay for that dearly.
How so?
I think he's gonna lose support of all of his military might.
Well, we already saw the beginnings of that because the end of the episode was those two meeting, Corlys and
He
Daemon
went
were
right
meeting
to.
together.
He sold him out
Right-
immediately.
right to him.
Immediately, he
See,
was.
to me, the king and his brother are not. This is not like the. To me, like I try to get out of that like Game of Thrones thing. It's not like where they completely despise each other right now. They
Right.
don't. I don't think they're brothers, and I think they do love each other. It's just that he's pissed off at him because he didn't name him heir. It's still a problem that can be resolved or whatever by either him having a male heir or.
Do you think that resolves it though? Doesn't Damon want to be heir no matter what?
Love doesn't mean nothing when you're talking about power.
I think that
I love that line from the first episode. The gods have not made a man who is not patient enough to wait for absolute power or
Yeah,
whatever
listen.
it was.
The love means nothing when we're talking about power. I'm sorry. I've never seen an example in real life or in cinema where power doesn't corrupt somebody to the point where even loved ones aren't safe from their wrath. When we had the true story of Frank Lucas, played by Denzel Washington in American Gangster, we saw how he treated his family when he was on top of the heroin trade in Harlem in New York. This was a true story. When you go back and look at something like New Jack City, with Nino Brown and G Money, and Nino Brown had to pull that pistol and kill G Money on the roof, and he asked him, "Am I my brother's keeper?" You know, and Nino killed him. Shout out to Wesley Snipes. It's an iconic scene, but the point was, it don't matter how much I love you, if you're in the way of my power, like I'm in this position right now, you're in the way of this power, everybody want to be number one. Once you get to the top, it's far and few between you're going to find people that can sit that close to power and not want it for themselves.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like that's
I
the
think that's
thing
like one of
that's
the main
being
themes
pushed.
of the whole entire Game of Thrones.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones and anything else you ever seen where somebody gained any kind of influence or power.
Dude, even in this show, I'm
listen,
thinking about who's going to be sitting on the Iron Throne. It still feels like Game of Thrones.
I will agree with you there. However, I'm saying that when we started in Game of Thrones, from the beginning, from the get go, from the jump, there was all of this underlying hate and reasons why so and so hated so and so. Regardless of, you know what I'm saying, like who that was, like that was already there.
I feel like in the first Game of Thrones, the only person that didn't legitimately want to be on the throne was Ned Stark.
Yeah, he didn't
died.
have anything to do with it.
And Jaime Lannister. I feel like Jaime never wanted the throne.
No.
Like his
that.
father didn't want the throne because he felt like he was more powerful than the
Right.
throne.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like there was all of this underlying like hatred and reasons why, and these like undercuts. I don't think that there's that yet here.
Well, they showing
Between
it
these two,
already.
brother. It's getting there. I'm saying,
Yeah.
like it was already built in. We see that the king has an affection for his brother. He did.
Oh yeah, he loved his
He
brother.
kind of like
He
he,
really
like during
loved
that
his brother.
first meeting when he was like giving him all that shit, like the hand was giving him shit about like the what he did with the gold cloaks.
Mm-hmm.
And, the king was kind of like sitting there like,
Yeah, I get it.
like.
You're not wrong.
You know
Right,
how he
like,
likes
yeah,
it.
it's
You
my
know he
brother.
likes.
He
You
gonna
know he
do-
likes messing with you, man.
Right, he
Like,
gonna
you need
do
to
some
cut this
shit.
out. Like,
Sometimes he gonna mess with
Yeah,
you.
don't
It is what it
indulge
is.
him.
it wasn't. It just seemed like he wasn't as he's not as mistrusting of his brother as like he doesn't. There's nowhere in his brain I think that his brother would kill him right now.
Yeah, but his
can get there, but
Yeah, I was
I
about to
don't-
say his advisors seem to know better.
Well, that Hightower and him don't. We already know there's animosity there. I'm saying just between these two people that are like vying for the throne, like if there is a genuine love, I believe, like I see it there. Like he doesn't. There's an affection for his brother, and it's not. It's gonna go away, but I feel like we're at a different starting point in the Game of Thrones
Well,
than
be
we
so-
entered into
Right.
in the first. In
I
the
think
original.
what would be so dope is if it doesn't go away, because like we discussed in the first episode.
Well, and if he ever had to kill him, you'd feel that
Yeah,
emotion.
right,
If
that's
they
what I'm
could
saying.
build us-
It's so
yeah.
much more emotional weight to
Right.
still loving somebody immensely, but feeling like it's kind of like when Thanos had to toss Gamora off of the thing to get the Soul Stone. It's like we feel the weight of that, even though we didn't watch Thanos through all these movies. But Thanos basically expressed that this is the one thing in the whole of the existence that I actually care about. And even that won't stop me from doing what it is I
Right.
had to do. And it's like, God damn, that's messed up. You
So
know
we're
what I'm
gonna
saying? It
see,
kind of
like,
hits you.
It'll be fun to build up to that point. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
said, and get to see that because, like I said, I do feel like there is a genuine affection between these two as brothers. Like they're kind of fucking with each other.
But can he pull it off, though?
Right.
I mean, the actor. Can an actor pull off that
Damon?
much emotional weight
I hope so.
in a scene where he had to...
I feel like the king can.
The
I don't
king
know.
could... he
I like
he
him.
acted his
I don't
ass
know
off.
about. We'll have to see about.
He
the
acted.
thing.
Look, he's acting his ass off right now. Like I told you, he carries his royalty with the type of it's almost a classiness to it. You know what I mean? It feels like
I like the king.
that's what I'm saying. It
And his
feels
real name is Patty.
he can't be a mean asshole if your name Patty.
P-A-D-D-Y. His
Life
real name
would
is
not
Patty.
allow him to be an asshole. His name's Patty.
Right.
But no, that's what I'm saying. It's like he carries his royalty in a way where you feel like this is the type of king I could sit down and talk to. If I ever was to know a king, it would be cool to know this king.
Yeah, I mean, I
Like
agree
you wouldn't want to
because-
be around
like,
Robert
even-
Baratheon. You feel like the type of asshole who'll keep poking at you until you like, I gotta get the fuck away from this guy. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's like certain people you wouldn't want to be around.
Well, even like you feel like with the other kings that we've known and the other people that have sat on that throne so far in the show that we know that like you feel like if you say something the wrong way, like
Oh, yeah,
for
you on your
example,
way
the
out.
dude that was telling that story and got his head smashed by the mountain in the alleyway, like that Corliss dude pulled him aside. He was like, "Can I speak plainly?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, man. Like, go ahead." And he
Right.
said some pretty some pretty like harsh shit that you wouldn't normally say to a monarch. You know what I mean? Like in that setting, and he's like, well, hey, that's my reign so far. Like he kind of just brushed it off. Like he didn't get angry about it.
Right.
He's not that type of
Now-
guy.
now what
Which I
would be
think
a-
he's selling that he's selling that king the type of monarchy. He's doing a good job.
He's a benevolent guy, and I think the thing that's plug me back up. I'm back on.
I'm working on it.
I'm back on.
There
All
you
right,
are.
look, but listen, I think he's a benevolent guy.
I want to talk to this guy too because
Go ahead, back.
a
little bit more.
Let me go back to you. Let me wait for mine to.
Did I stop? Oh, I'm moving.
Am I all good here? Yeah,
No,
I'm
you
all
good.
good. Okay.
Joel's in focus.
Okay. Anyways, I was gonna say that I think I would have. You said you want. This is a king you would have wanted to talk to.
Right.
He seemed to know enough about old Valyria. They kept talking about it. I was just like, more old Valyria
please.
talk,
Yeah,
please.
please keep talking.
Just keep going, please. I want to know all the things about old Valyria.
It was one of those things where I sat up
I
in my
didn't
chair
even consciously think about that.
and like
but
turned the
yeah.
volume up. I was like, I want to like give me
Yeah,
like
just please keep talking was all I was thinking.
dive into
more.
a
But do you
flashback right
realize-
here.
Yes, a flashback would be amazing.
Do
I don't
you
know how
How
they
they
realize-
do it.
showed it, like they like zoomed in on the model and like kind of showed like he's like this was where they lived in the mountain like fade in. I was like, wait, please, like give us that thing you never.
But
gave
do
us
you
in
realize
Game of Thrones.
how dope of writing and directing that is?
Yeah,
That this character who seems benevolent has the weight of history on his shoulder. A person who studies history tends to be a little more understanding of things that's going on. You understand what I'm saying? Like the fact that he's the person who knows about history and has studied. That's dope characterization. These guys are
yeah.
stop coughing. You're giving too many clues. Anyway, but no, I think that's dope writing. I think that's dope characterization. I love this show, and I'm gonna put out my warning. Like
You
I
love
always-
the show. That's so
and
nice.
that's what I'm saying. Because once you realize it, it's once when they got you. I'm telling you, HBO,
I feel like the fact that
don't
they
do this again. Do not do this again. You got me again.
I don't think it's possible that they do it again.
I just
Like,
don't want it.
genuinely, I don't
believe
think
they
that
are
they
fully aware of what happened and
Yeah.
how it was perceived.
Yeah.
exactly. There's no way they let
like-
them make that $1 million, millions and billions of dollar.
They're going to do
mistake
that with
again.
Snow.
See, now I think that ends up
I'm just kidding.
I
was
think
joking.
that overall, when they can do like a chronologically Game of Thrones kind of thing, where you could watch through everything that exists in that world in
Yeah.
one go, straight through, I think that Snow will end up recovering it somehow.
listen.
If they, especially if they follow
some of
up
the
with
stuff
a
that-
couple things, Drogon, Arya, and
Like you
him
said,
north of the wall,
that's the
I'm
way,
interested.
That's the way that we can, like he said. When I said last week, I said, can they like save this? Can they actually
Well, I think the
save it?
beautiful part about it is they all in the HD era, in the 4K era. I shouldn't say HD, the 4K era, which is easier for a rewatch than going back to standard definition and trying to watch through, especially if you're doing chronological. If you have to watch something in 4K,
Yeah, it's all gonna
and then
match,
go-
like,
it all
resolution-wise.
It all kind of feels like
Yeah.
the same show.
Yeah, well,
So that should be good.
I do
Unless
not feel,
8K jumps in our face in the next couple years.
I don't imagine that being enough of a thing that like, oh my God, we need to get 8K. Like stuff in 4K looks amazing as it is.
See, I think
My
it's more or
camera
less
shoots
like
5.7K, but like, do I need that?
Like
Like
8K, like when you talk about 8K, like I want to see something like I'd be more interested in something like that for like video game type stuff, more than like how much better can
the TV shows
picture
get.
get.
Okay, well then we're gonna go to App Electronics and we're gonna go and look at some 8K images on the 8K screen, and I'll actually.
We're all gonna walk out of there and be
I
like,
genuinely
4K,
want to know. Like,
garbage.
No,
yeah, 4K is garbage.
no. Listen, I've been there.
Is that really
this is
what
where
you're
I
saying?
buy my TVs from. When you go to App Electronics and you look at 8K images on the 8K screen, holy shit, you be like, this don't make no goddamn sense. Like I've literally sat in the store before and thought to myself, this looks more clear than actual life. Like right now, I have really good vision. I've never had eye problems, anything like that.
Okay.
I could look at you right now and I could see like the details in your skin and all that stuff. But for some reason,
Yeah. Well, don't
when
make
you
me
look at
conscious
stuff
of
in
it.
8K, 8K not only post processes images,
I see inside of your
it
pores.
is so stupidly detailed, bro. I've sat in front of 8K screens like this, like I don't even want no shit like this in my house. Because you wouldn't even be able to look at your family again. You'd be like, you would be looking at the screen and then turn around and you see your family.
You have to put 'em
they
on
look
the
all
screen.
blurry and shit. You'd be like, get on the camera. Get on the camera.
Stand over there. You look better.
Like, you look
You look
terrible.
better
I
on
want to look at
TV.
you on TV.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my god.
I mean, is there anything else from this episode you guys want to talk
Let's give
about?
a real quick review. Obviously, we all loved it.
Yeah.
But
I'm like again. I'm fully invested.
Fully invested.
Like
Like,
lighter.
no question I'm invested in
But
this.
I'll sum my feelings up real quick in the actual review, since we rarely ever do those.
We do those usually at the beginning.
This-
We try to spoil it
In
free. but we
two
didn't.
episodes, I'm already giving these 2 episodes an A for the first episode and an A+ for the second. There were moments in there that moved you cinematically that didn't have to. I feel like even if this wasn't connected to Game of Thrones, when we saw, God, I hate that I don't remember all these characters' names, but when we saw Rhaenyra Targaryen, Rhaenyra Targaryen come up over.
It's going to take a bit for them to stick,
and
man.
fly.
Do not feel bad about that. It's
Oh
going to
yeah,
take a minute.
I'm telling you, I'm hating the name disassociation, but when we saw her come up over there and do that flyover with the dragon and then land and then walk past all the people that was trying to stop her,
They didn't. They just,
I don't care if you didn't watch Game of Thrones. If you didn't feel that scene, something might be a little wrong with you. You might want to check on yourself. This was dope, man. This is great cinematography, great camera work, great storytelling. I have no problems with the second episode. I gave it an A+. I thought it was one of the dopest things I've seen in a couple of years, honestly. And that, once again, that feeds into what I said earlier to HBO and the execs at HBO. Don't do it again.
Yeah, like
Don't do it again.
I
What do you
like
think,
I
Jeremy?
like the use of the dragon so far. I like the different looks of the dragons. I think that's super intriguing.
The fact that dragons can be like different, not breeds, but it feels almost like Pokemon or something, where it's
Right.
like they just have different
the different,
looks to them and all
Hers looks
that.
more traditional, like traditional in the sense of what we've seen,
Right.
and his looked totally different, like the snake type of.
Yeah, his dragon looked almost snake-like, and I thought that was a really good choice. They made it
so,
like,
too.
okay, don't trust this guy, which might be a red herring, but we'll see.
Right.
Because so far he hasn't done anything illegal, just
I
disrespectful.
don't just disrespectful. Like I said, I don't know where I'm at on him yet. We'll have to see what his actions, take us in the show.
Right.
Did we? I guess do we want to talk about the preview at all, or are we just going to save that for next week?
I want to say this. I'm never watching another preview again. I have zero interest in knowing anything about the upcoming episode.
I do actually think it's more fun that way. I did watch it, and I think it did spoil.
I don't like it.
Next week.
I don't want to
And,
know.
I mean, in kind of a big way to me.
I'm glad I didn't watch it.
Well, so then I'll leave it at that. I won't say what it was, but
Yeah, I don't want to see that. I genuinely am good just
I guess so then
knowing
maybe just kinda
this
like a-
episode was so good. I'm ready for the next one. I don't
was
need
very good.
any teasers for it. I'm already in. That's the thing, I think. I don't want to know anything, especially because they can't give you anything in context. So they're going to give it to you as a misleader.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they're never going to give it to you straight up
Right.
in the teaser. Don't bother.
Yeah, I fair
I
enough.
just want to
I'm
point
out.
out that all three of us are pretty much on the same page. And when we look back and like when we were talking about the show from Epics, by the second episode, we were all over the map. Like everybody was like, I don't know, I don't like that fucking guy. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
You were
everybody
talking
was
about aliens. We had
like we had all kind of shit. And look, and we all could still be
Still
wrong
thinks it's
and right.
alien.
You know, we don't know what's happening with that.
beep.
But that show had us all divided as far as opinions about some of the acting performances, some of the writing. this is really great television.
It is.
There's really nothing to dislike about this at this point.
So far.
No.
So far, there's not. They've done well so far.
They've kept. I don't know how they've managed to keep it all in one house.
Which is really cool.
The scope of this is so small, but yet so interesting still. Like they flew to Dragonstone, so that's the first time away from.
Yeah, and they were still in the same house. They was
Yeah.
ironically they flew to Dragonstone and visited a distant brother. It was the same
Who
thing.
is Dragonstone supposed to be owned by?
I thought everything was under the.
It was like the first, like where Dragonstone was, like where, like I think where he like set up shop at first, like
Yeah, I thought it was still
Targaryens?
under
When he-
the
when he-
banner of the king of
Yeah.
King's Landing, though. I'm interested in these crab folks. I think
we didn't talk much about them.
What do you think's up with that?
I don't think that they're going to be a big time enemy. I think this is going to be a 2-episode run for these people and they're going to get wiped out. But the way they're going to be wiped out is going to be politically bad for the king. I think Damon is going to help him help Corlys wipe out the crab people
with his dragon.
with his dragon and his military might with their ships. I think they're going to wipe them out in a couple episodes, and then that's going to be another political knock against the king. I think that's going to add more tension to their relationship.
So the here really quick, did we have okay, we had the White Walker kill the dragon with the spear,
Right.
right?
Right.
Okay, but then they came up with the crossbow,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Okay, that seemingly was the first iteration of that.
That was new technology
weapon.
that does
Okay.
not exist prior to that.
So right, so there is really no way for these crab feeders unless they give us something different to combat
the
a dragon.
dragons.
Yeah, and we don't
So
know
if
what
they
they
fly
are
in,
yet.
If they fly in with a fucking dragon, like it's
Yeah.
pretty much over for these guys.
Yeah, and also we don't know what the
So
crab.
I like where your thoughts are on that because of that reason. I think like we're gonna see the might of the Targaryens, like kind of like they're setting up these.
Yeah,
crab
I wanna
feeders a
see them
little
get
bit
stomped
just
out.
to see us, just to see like.
Right.
Yeah, I
shit.
think the death of these people is going to be more political than anything. I think that this is going to be like, okay, now I'm in a position where I'm loyal to this guy because he acquiesced to what I asked for. I said I need somebody to hold me down, help me fight these people that's killing my people. So now I'm going to lend all my strength to him. And that might give you what you were talking about. We might go outside of the houses
Right.
and that might even introduce the Lannisters.
Right.
Maybe the king might have to go to the Lannisters because he have to build forces.
Right.
And the Lannisters was always famous for being able to do that because they had money. So, yeah, I mean, it could go a million different directions, but, yeah, this shit is super interesting right now.
I'm fully invested, and I will definitely be watching next week. Any final thoughts on this episode?
No, I mean, like I said,
Is there anything we didn't cover?
I don't know.
I feel like we nailed all of the.
Yeah, we talked about pretty much everything. The only thing we didn't talk about was, no, we even discussed that with Rhaenyra not feeling like she have an actual relationship with her father.
Right.
He's being distant because he misses his wife. And I think they're doing that thing that a lot of people do in cinema where they say, like, if the mother or the father die and then and the child reminds that parent of the person that they
The
lost,
dead spouse. Yeah.
they kind of feel like a little distant there because it hurts to even look at them. And he did say that when he was talking to her. He's like, even now I'm sitting here, I'm looking at you. You remind me of her.
Right.
So, yeah, I could see him being distant. And that distance might cost him because it's a lot of people moving in positions already. In 2 episodes, you got people positioning themselves to, like, you're a
How
sick
old do you think he is?
I don't know, probably in his 50s, but it's like you're a sick old man.
It doesn't feel like he's that old and dying. Like it feels like they're treating him as if he is.
Oh, no, I don't think he died from
king.
being old. I think he died from being sick.
Like the
I
grayscale
I
stuff.
think the maesters and people kind of know they're not letting on how worried they actually are.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't gotten a character so far in 2 episodes. We haven't gotten that little backhanded character that lets people know other information. I forgot what the bald head guy.
The spider.
Yeah, him from Game of Thrones.
Varys.
Varys. He would kind of play people against each other.
Littlefinger.
Characters like Littlefinger and stuff
like
like that. Yeah, they would play people against each other with information they knew in the background. We haven't seen a character like that, but Those
High
mace
tower guy is.
We both said it at the same
No,
time.
no.
The
High
hand.
tower is
The hand.
He's a hand.
but he's not playing nobody
He
against each other.
He put his wife, his daughter, and
put his
Yeah,
daughter.
no. He's playing himself in position of power because the other guy, Corliss, did the same thing. He was unsuccessful. Well,
Right.
I mean somebody who doesn't have a claim to the throne, doesn't even have a
he was
chance to be there.
He was already like 2 steps ahead of Corliss.
No, but I'm
I'm
saying
saying,
you
like,
remember the
I'm just saying
the
that he's
dude.
that type of character to me so far. He was
Yeah.
already 2 steps ahead of Corliss by sending his daughter to console the king. This was 6
Forge
months.
your
Oh no, he
relationship.
he
This was
tried.
right away. This was 6
He-
months. This was 6 months before.
Yeah, he did it. He did it quick.
Corliss
He did it
asked-
quick. He
a-
was on it.
Asked
But
about
I mean,
the-
I
he was
want to
already
see.
thinking way ahead.
But I'm saying I want to see a character that's like he has no claim to the throne.
And he's still
He's
trying
not
to get
even
it.
close.
Isn't
No,
that
he's not trying
Damon?
to get it. No, I'm saying not even trying to get it. Just somebody who's like, what was his name? Varys, like we said, the guy. He just cared about the realm. He didn't even have aspirations to rule.
Right.
He just cared about the realm. So what he would do is go behind scenes and like, yeah, drop a little gem in this one ear. You know what I'm saying? Drop a little bug in that one ear. And I want to see a character like that.
Okay.
I don't want them to copy paste from everything in Game of Thrones, obviously. But when you get those type of characters in the mix, that's when shit gets super interesting because it's like, all right, what are you going to do now? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even if you, like, nobody came out of Game of Thrones thinking about Varys and caring about anything about him. But when you actually watch the show and see all the stuff that he was doing to move people in positions, like the way he was pushing Tyrion to do stuff, the way he was, I like those type of characters. So, yeah, that would be cool if we get something like that. But, I mean, again, we super excited about this shit. We 2 episodes in.
Right. Like they've done something right already.
Oh, yeah. Super right.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, we have to care.
I
about
was
the
so
characters, and
I was so
that's what we're doing.
jaded.
We're sitting here talking about the characters, and that was the important thing.
Yeah.
It had to be about that.
I was quite jaded about the end of Game of Thrones.
Me
and
too.
Like I didn't want to be. We talked about this like
No.
season 3 and 4 and 5 and shit.
I
You're
don't wanna
like,
be either.
this is the best show ever. And I'm like, man, it's got to stick the landing.
You said it. Yeah,
and it
right.
sucked that it didn't. I was so mad
Well,
that it
and the
didn't.
thing, I think this shit was this ball of circumstances that are led to that, though. Like the fact that the story wasn't actually finished.
Right.
They moved past it.
Yeah.
This should have never happened.
Yeah, I remember they took
To
an
me,
extra
that's
year
where
off. Remember that one time, but production between season 6 and 7.
Yeah, it was
they
like
took a
2 years.
whole extra year off, and still they was too far ahead of the books. And, they
it was
just
like
fuck
6
it, we just gotta go.
episodes or
Right? They were
whatever,
like, fuck it, we
7.
just gotta go with it.
That's where I think that he saw that they stopped being like as invested as they should have been to
Right.
finish it out. Talking about George R. R. Martin, it was
Right.
like, yeah, Daenerys burns up.
He
King's
said like the
Landing.
last 4 seasons he was not involved in.
Yeah, see, like that's
They
a
just
long
didn't
time.
ask him anything. Like he just was not involved.
Well, I could see him getting pissy at that point too. Then,
Do you think they figured out Hodor, or do you think he told them that?
oh my God, wait, the last 4 seasons he was not involved in,
Yeah.
so they made up Hodor.
I don't know.
They came
No.
up with that.
I don't think they made it.
I don't
up.
think they made
might
it
have
up
read
either.
the
They
book.
might have
Well,
asked.
that
it.
was in a book.
They might have read the book.
Well, but that
Well,
didn't
they had
say
to
it
have
in
read
the
the book.
book. It didn't. That wasn't. That was beyond the books.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it?
So like he would have had to tell them that early on, maybe, or maybe they guessed it, and he explained it to them. But like he said, he was literally not involved in the last 3-4 seasons of the show.
Well, they did a good ass job. I just think
Well,
they
what
checked
season
out
was that?
in
That was season
7 and 8.
That was the end.
6, 7, and 8.
No, I'm saying
The
What
Hodor
season was Hodor?
Hodor was at the end
Hodor
of
was into
season
season
6, I believe.
6.
Yeah.
so. There were still 2 seasons after that.
I just feel like they checked out. Once, like you said, once they was contracted, they got what they wanted. They got moved up.
All they
got higher
wanted was to
positions.
go. It was to put the Red Wedding on air.
No, well, I'm saying,
That
but
was
once
their
they once they got
legitimate
that
goal from
once
the
they got
start
that
of making the
promotion
show.
and they was going on to, I think they was doing Star Wars or some shit like that.
They were, yeah.
They was like, all right, fuck it, we out. You know, what I'm saying? It's like
I think they did. It was. I don't know why it ended up like it did. It sucks that it did, and it sucks that it can't ever be corrected. We can get,
But
we
it can be.
Well, not really.
You can't fix
go back
that.
and end. You can.
I
fix the
think
ending.
that I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that if they do the Snow show, they have a potential to fix the ending in the sense of like what carries on beyond that.
9:38
We could
p.m.
see some stuff.
Tuesday, August 30th, 2022. Mark it.
Go ahead.
We'll go back to it. If they somehow fix this, Joel will be number one in line.
I'm saying
for the
that
throne.
I don't disagree.
That's
that
all
they
I'm
can,
saying.
They can bring the interest in those characters back, and even bring Bran and some of those characters.
They could bring
actually back
Bran and
for
Sam
and
like,
have that kind of take place. Sure, but
I would
can
love
they
to see
Just
some-
show
fix the
how it.
ending? To me, when I'm saying what I'm saying by fix the ending means
You
it
got to
being
be
go
able to
back and
logically explain
fucking
how
redone.
that,
No, not
that
even that.
shit
They're
happened.
never going to redo it.
That's what I'm saying.
But they could show how it played out in a satisfactory way
I know, I
that they
know.
did
could
not
almo-
do
I
in the
see what he's saying. He
series.
basically
I
said,
I
if
would
you
be
go back and
grateful
show
if they
those
did. I just
characters
don't see how
again,
that's possible.
you could almost kind of forget how we got to that point. If they
Yeah.
do great after that,
If they
but
show
it'll
Bran
still be-
doing more like time stuff, like they could potentially go to that character in the present.
No, see,
with
to me, that's
Jon
not
Snow.
fixing the ending.
It's not, but it's continuing it in a way that doesn't feel like that was the end.
To me, that's
You know
that's
what
the
it is?
only
Only
factor
thing
to
I
me
mean.
that-
Have you ever
all right,
got?
I think that's what I meant by can they save it?
Yeah, that's what I'm meaning.
Can they
when I
bring
say
the
that.
public opinion back around? Sure. Can they fix the ending of what
No,
happened?
they can't.
No, but
you know,
they
to be
could
fair-
they can make that not the
Go back,
ending.
When the
go
writers-
back
It's the
and
only
add-
thing they could
go
do.
back to whatever season they stopped doing 7 or 10 episodes and do 10 episodes for the
No,
next
they'll
When the
never
writer-
do that.
That's
but
what
they,
I mean. Like they
yeah.
can't get the actors
No.
back
When
to
a-
come back
when
and,
a
and
real-
be like, "Hey, the Zack Snyder cut." You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they can't do that.
When the writer strike happened and it ruined one of the greatest TV shows of all time, Heroes, they actually fixed it storytelling wise. A lot of people had already checked out. Nobody came back. Unfortunately, the show had garnered so much bad.
You're talking about
press.
season 2 or 3?
Season 3 was the shitty season when the writer strike happened.
I can't
And-
remember what that season was about. I remember
Because it was
season. I
super
remember
dumb
season
and
2 was
shitty.
like the hero going back and becoming hero.
Yeah. And
From
then
his
after that,
mythology,
they
yeah.
had this little black boy who was like a his sister. The black boy could control electronics. His sister could she was a mimic. She was basically like a taskmaster. Whenever she sees something, she can immediately copy it and all this other. It was really, really dumb because the way she used her power was like breakdancing in the street. I fucking hate y'all for that. That was so stupid. But anyway, but they fixed it because when Heroes came back, they changed the subtitle. I forgot what it was called. It was like Heroes Carnival or something like that. They introduced a new powered individual with a new plan. Even though they stole it from Marvel Comics, he was basically Magneto doing what Magneto did, which was the build a place only for people with powers and shit like that. It was a really Magneto type of thing to do.
Okay.
But storytelling wise, it brought back in Claire. It brought back in
Is that with that? Yeah, I remember the carnival thing with Claire and the horn rim glasses guy.
exactly. And they brought back in him and explained what he had been doing and what was going on, and they fixed the story from the writer strike era. But unfortunately, people had already checked out. Nobody watched the new one. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I remember
but the new one
watching it,
actually
but,
fixed it. It was actually really good. So I could see what you mean. There's a possibility to make it better.
Just making the end
but
not the
when
end
you-
is
but
is
I
a
would not
possibility.
go back and watch season 3 again because it was really bad. It was.
But you
really
would watch it if you were watching
bad.
through
If
the
I had to
whole
watch
show.
through the whole thing, yeah, I would probably like drink.
You wouldn't
a
go,
lot.
I'm skipping season 3. You'd want to know there's
Honestly,
probably some
narratively
connective
wise,
tissue. Nothing?
they really didn't connect anything because, like I said, it's season 3, the writer strike happened, and then you had
What was
like a
season
lot
3 about? Do you remember?
They introduced new characters. That's my point. It was about this black guy who was running around trying to escape these people, and
Was that the
yeah.
dude who became
he
America?
Marvel. I think he wound up in Marvel.
is that Captain America? No? You didn't like that show?
It was okay. The first couple seasons were fine. I did check.
Yeah, well, that's my point. You checked out after that because they shitted on the whole thing because the writers went on strike, and a lot
don't
of
even remember why.
I distinctly remember how the quality of the show went down.
Dude,
So
season 1 was spectacular, and then
I
it
thought
was
it was
just
so
like
dope.
I
I
liked
thought it was-
season 2 as well, but it was totally different.
yeah, and season 4 was completely different as well. But like
But
I
they
said,
did that with a lot of shows that we love. Like Lost was different season to season.
but Lost also suffered from the writer strike as well.
Season 4 was
But,
short.
But
Yeah.
unfortunately, but fortunately for Lost, they still kept the same people on board. So when they came back, they could keep that same narrative strength
Right.
going. With this one, Heroes, they had to go a different direction, but they were able to save it. But like I said, nobody watched it. So yeah, Game of Thrones has enough love in this era where I think they can come back. But that
I
being
think
that,
they can make it where the ending doesn't completely suck, where you like see something beyond that. And
No,
that's all I need, really.
Well,
is to see anything
that's where
beyond
I
that.
guess I was getting at with that is like they didn't have that. I think that stuff is there for them. There's a lot. There's a lot in Fire and Blood.
yeah,
There's a lot. It's the whole entire history of the Targaryens from Aegon the Conqueror to what would be the Mad King or Daenerys. You know.
Do you, so
like,
do you think that we're gonna make it all the way to Game of Thrones by the end of the show?
you think?
I
I don't think so.
I don't know where Fire and Blood ends.
I would hope
like
not.
that.
Honestly,
I
I don't
hope
want it
not
to.
either.
I don't want them to.
I know that this.
I'd rather it be a
this
different
Dance
period.
of Dragons, which is this civil war we're about to witness, is like the biggest part of Fire and Blood.
I would be completely satisfied if this thing ended where with like the birth of Daenerys and her brother or something like that, where we don't see
It's
them.
172
160,
years.
Then we're getting whole sets of characters. It has to be
Like
because,
Rhaenyra has to die then.
But if they
and
keep
move
doing
on.
this thing and they make us used to this thing where they're going to switch actors and actresses like that to
If
go
they do
older,
it well, I'm
if
good
they
with
do
it.
well, and yeah, I'm fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
I keep forgetting that time period. So yeah, scratch
It's
one
not,
last
gonna, it's
comment.
not really going to bug me too much. We only had 2 episodes to.
I don't
like,
need this to
connect
be a
with.
bridge to Game of Thrones. I'm interested in
would-
the period.
I would
piece of
rather
it.
see. Yes, please make it more about that.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, yeah,
Like
let's leave
again,
it at
if
that.
I were to see a Lost follow up,
I do
I would want them to do something like Dharma Initiative in the 50s, 60s, something like that.
like that would be cool.
Like somewhere where it's not necessarily related to the Losties that we know,
Or-
but it could tie
Or
into
just
that
go
overall
go
story.
even further back and show Jacob in there.
Yeah.
That would be. I would literally.
Or the start of the Alvar Hanzo and like the De Groots and all that stuff that created the Dharma Initiative. I would watch that story. That could be riveting on its own.
I'm sorry, I'm changing subjects.
Go ahead,
I
you're
agree
good.
with you there. I think there could be some cool follow up.
I'm just saying, I want
don't know if they're
period pieces
I-
within a mythology that we
Yes,
already know.
Yes, agreed. Speaking of that, which is exactly what's coming up on Friday, is the Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Starts on Friday, so I imagine that we should be talking about that if we have to sit down and do.
We'll probably have to do 2 of these.
Okay, so for listen, audience, all 7 of you guys,
Right.
this is what I need you guys to do. I'll
We
leave
got like 45 views on
no,
the last
let's
episode.
keep it.
So
No,
don't have a
I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I think our views about to go up exponentially. Mark my words on that. But listen, audience, we're gonna start compacting these because we're starting to get a lot of good stuff coming out, and instead of
Yeah, we did not need an hour and
yeah,
40
I
minutes.
think
on this
we're
one.
gonna start compacting
yeah.
these and making
An
them a
hour
little,
would have been fine.
a little
Right.
tighter, a little faster to the point, and
Yeah.
we won't bloviate as much as we do.
Bloviate. Don't ever.
Well, if you don't look that word up, and
I
don't
know
we're
it.
not gonna make that mistake again.
No, okay.
Joe be like, "That's not a real word."
I'm,
It's
not,
a real
I'm
word.
just saying it's ridiculous,
It
but
is ridiculous.
carry on.
Yeah, no, that's a horrible word, but I like to use my lexicon as much as I can.
Again,
Now you know lexicon,
I
please.
do know the I know the word. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he could have said vocabulary, but it's longer.
Yeah, this is true.
All right.
But anyway, yeah, man. Look, we're gonna compact these. We're gonna be more to the point, and we're gonna talk about more shows. And if you happen to watch this, and you have a show that you want us to watch, and think we would be great for a discussion
You'd like
with,
to hear our conversation. Conversation
like
about
TV.
television. We would be having these conversations off air, but to me that's a waste. We may as well record it.
yeah, and we
I
like,
find this shit
we like watching
interesting.
shows and discussing them. So if you got something you think we'd be interested in talking about, let us know.
Yeah. leave comments, all that nonsense, and we'll be back.
Smash
next
that
week.
like button and follow us, subscribe, and
I hate that.
listen. If I gotta keep being a guy, I'm gonna be that guy.
Dre's going to be that guy. We'll be back next week to discuss Lord of the Rings and House
It'll
of
be
Dragon
both of 'em.
episode 3.
Right, so it'll be Friday and Sunday. Those shows come on then.
Okay, so
I have filming both of those days, so I'll be watching
what?
everything on Monday.
Well, that's fine. So then we'll just have to pick a day, and I think we're gonna have to compact them like he said,
Yeah,
and
we'll
just do
compact
2 in a row.
Okay,
in
I'm
one
down with
sitting.
an hour and an hour, like
Right.
essentially. We should be able to
Switch
discuss
subject and then
anything.
go full Lord of the Rings and what we're looking at there.
Okay.
that
All right,
works.
I'm in.
In case you guys were wondering,
This is how to watch TV.
see you later.